The Lord be with you. We're now looking at number 5 under the explanation of the Lord's Supper passages in this book, finding God's heart in baptism and the Lord's Supper. So go to the section in explanation of the Lord's Supper passages, number 5, and here we come to a sticky point. Jesus says, "Do this in remembrance of me." And for Protestants, and whether you consider yourself a Protestant or not, I don't know. I'm a Lutheran because I believe what the Bible says. So this word remembrance, what does it mean to remember? And so what Protestants do is they go, see, this is what the Lord's Supper is about. See, it's not his body and blood that we eat and drink. No, it's a symbol of Jesus's body and blood so that we can remember, we can think about Jesus's death and resurrection. That's all the Lord's Supper is. It's just us thinking about what Jesus did. It's just us remembering, which remembering what Jesus did for us is a wonderful thing. Thinking about what Jesus did for us on the cross is a wonderful thing. But it doesn't understand what the word remember means. There's a great passage in Deuteronomy chapter 5 where he's talking to the descendants, to the children of the people who came out of Egypt. And he says, remember when God brought you out of Egypt, when God brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery, or the house of Egypt, land of slavery. God brought you. And in fact, a believing Jew to this day, when they celebrate the Passover meal, they say, we are celebrating when God brought us out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. Us. To remember, and here's where it's helpful to remember. That is, we're becoming members again of God's saving action. What God once did in the past, he's continuing to do for us right now. And that's what the Lord's Supper is. It's God bringing Jesus's death and resurrection to us. We are remembering, or God is basically remembering us. He's making us a part of what Jesus did on the cross. We're becoming a part of his death and resurrection, participating in Jesus's death and resurrection. That's what biblical remembrance is. It's not a thinking exercise. It's a participation exercise in God's saving work. God bless.